Hey everyone, it's Marco, and I'm back again with another video. This one is about my audition experience with Juilliard. So this is my audition experience with Juilliard. Ooh, scary, I know. I know it sounds scary. It was scary for me. I practiced so much. They ask you to have ready 2 monologues. So one of them will be classical and one is contemporary. I didn't know the difference between classical and contemporary was, so I looked it up, went on Backstage. Backstage has a whole list of classical and contemporary monologues, so I made sure to choose something that wasn't Romeo and Juliet, you know? I wanted something more personalized, even though I was going through a site like Backstage where every actor goes to find their monologues. I wanted something more personal for me, so I made sure to look through all of their monologues that they had listed and choose something that fit my personality. So all these auditions that they're having, well, at least when I had my audition, was during the COVID pandemic and all that. So they had all these people online. So all the audition process was online. You know, this is Juilliard, so I had to make it count. You know, I'm like, well, they're the say-so of who is who, you know?
Okay, so first off, I started by going to the Juilliard website and learning the difference between a bachelor and a master's. Okay, didn't get my master's, so I must be going for a bachelor in fine arts? Yeah, that's totally it. Went to the application timeline and saw that the app was due in a month, and I was like, what? Then I saw I had to write an essay. Oh, and there was this application fee, just like there was with USC. With Juilliard, the app fee was like $110. Then after that, I had to dig up 2 rare mentors I hadn't talked to in years for recommendations. By the way, I believe 2 is the amount that was mandatory. So after all that application stuff is done, they send you to an audition scheduling email, but I didn't really get to schedule mine since they only had 1 available. So the date was set for Friday, December 4th at 8:30 a.m. The date comes and I'm scrambling to get my 4 monologues completely memorized. Oh yes, I do mean 4, since if you make it past the first round, the faculty might want to see 2 more monologues the second round. And if you make it past then, you get invited to New York to audition. How optimistic of me to think I would get past the first round. Damn it, you'll understand this later. I practiced my webcam setup the night before to make sure everything was perfect. I made sure the webcam was connected to my tripod facing my blank wall and not my messy room. However, by doing this, I separated the screen where I would see the faculty from the webcam I would be looking in. I thought this was a smart idea since I wouldn't have to look at any of them when I perform my monologues, but it turned out to be a bit of a disconnect. Every time the faculty would ask me something, I would look to the side towards the monitor to look at them. It could have been misinterpreted as me not being present or still studying my monologues. Maybe they thought I was cheating. Who knows? But before I went to my audition, I was in a virtual waiting room. Looking at a list and seeing my name on that list was so exciting and nerve-wracking. Then the time came to my audition. They asked me some questions. I did both my monologues but messed up 3/4 into the second one, but prior to that mess up, I'd given my all. In fact, when I stopped during the mess up, the faculty thought I finished my monologue, but I am too much of an honest man and tried to finish, giving away that I had messed up. Perhaps my slight insistence of finishing my monologue was what turned them off. Who knows? When I got out of the audition, I was directed to a different meeting room. This was headed by one of the alumni of Juilliard, and I got to see all of the people in my group. He asked how I had done, and I was honest to everyone about my disappointment with my mess up in my second monologue. He said it was okay. I assumed that was okay. The whole group had a conversation about how much everyone was just glad to be there in this audition, whether they got in or not. I felt a little differently. However, I knew these conversations will only last so long. Eventually, a woman came into the chat and told everyone to turn off their cameras and mics when they announced the picks from our group. They wouldn't announce the picks until everyone turned off their mics and cameras. The purpose for this was for people who don't see their name not to get too upset when they see someone else's reaction while they sulk in their own misery. Sorry, that was a little dark. But yes, as you can guess by now, they didn't pick me.
No, please, 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 you have to believe me. You just have to, please, just give me one more chance, please. Please. Please.
There are 3 stages to get into Juilliard, and I didn't get past the first. I still don't know quite how to feel about that, but I picked my second monologue in preparation for not getting picked. It was a subtle way of telling them off if they didn't think I had whatever they were looking for. I am not bitter about this, but I just wanted to share my experience with you all in case you were thinking about applying to Juilliard.
I just want to show you guys the monologues that I performed for the Juilliard audition. So, first one was my classical one. This was from A Midnight Summer's Dream, and I was playing Puck. My second monologue was me playing Bobby from Food for Fish. My mistress with a monster is in love, near her close and consecrated bower, while she was in her dull and sleeping hour. A crew of patches, rude mechanicals that work for bread upon Athenian stalls, were met together to rehearse a play intended for great Theseus' nuptial day. The shallowest thick-skin of that barren sort, who Pyramus presented in their sport, forsook his scene and entered in a break. When I did him at this advantage take, an ass's knoll I fixed on his head, and on his Theseus must be answered, and forth my mimic comes, when they him spy, as wild geese at the creeping fowler eye, or russet pad choughs many in sort, rising and cawing at the guns or port, sever themselves and madly sweep the sky. So at his sight, away his fellows fly. And at our stamp, here o'er and o'er one falls. He murder cries and help from Athens calls. Their sense, thus weak, lost with their fears, the strong made senseless things begin to do them wrong. For briars and thorns at their peril snatch, some sleeves, some hats from yielders, all things catch. I led them on in this distracted fear, and left sweet Pyramus translated there, when in the moment, time came to pass, Titania waked, and straightway loved an ass. Dear sir, did you even read my masterpiece? If you had, you would not be sending me this form letter of rejection. Not unless you are a complete and worthless moron. I do not accept you as an arbiter of real talent. I have more talent than all of you put together if it really comes to it. You, with your hackneyed conventions, have usurped the foremost places in art and consider nothing genuine and legitimate except what you yourselves do. Everything else you stifle and suppress. I do not accept you. I do not. I was optimistic to think that you were not a undiscerning fool. Are you all conspiring against me? You, with your form letters on separate letterheads converging into one voice. As punishment for this, your highest crime, know that you have pushed me to eschew publication altogether. Know that you and others and the world at large will miss out on the rest of my work, which I shall never again let you touch with your dirty and destructive hands. My work belongs to eternity now, to the universe of ephemera, but never to you. May your just punishment be knowing you kept another hungry genius away from the world who aches to hear him. Sincerely, the author who would have made you famous.